Today, we will examine question 42 of the Shorter Catechism. I'll read the question and let the congregation read in unison the answer. Question 42 states, what is the sum of the 10 commandments? The sum of the 10 commandments is to love the Lord your God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our strength, and with all our mind, and our neighbor as ourselves. The sum of the 10 commandments is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and our neighbor as ourselves. What we have here is divines conveying the overlying theme of the 10 commandments. The first clause, the sum of the 10 commandments, is the verbiage, such that the word sum comes from the Latin phrase summus, which means highest. And commandment comes from the Old French to command. So thus, from deductive reasoning, one can see the first clause is trying to iterate very easily. It is the highest duty of the commandments. This is where the divines is trying to let us understand. So then the two clauses that comes after it, we will see the particular verb, to love, is associated with loving the Lord and your fellow man. To start, in the second clause, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. The words here are clearly defined. So on my first approach on the first clause, I won't define them. But on the other hand, I want you to see in reference of the two tablets that particular quality, the expectation and devotion from you to love the Lord your God. So such you do see by the nouns, the verbs, and the adjectives that is portrayed in the answer to emphasize furthermore your duties to God and what amounts and what it takes for you to do that. Third clause we have here is the second tablet, which indicates the love that we have to portray to our neighbors. But notice in the succession, and I use the word succession to show the particular of the duties unto God and duties unto man and where they rank. For you see, for one to understand how to love the Lord God, only within there be an outflowing and understand how to outflow that love to man. So thus can one see, and as I will summarize here, why the Messiah makes the very point in Matthew 22, 37 through 40. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. For his emphasis is this is the great and foremost commandment. And then likewise you will see that the second is then like unto it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And on this clause he makes very clear to show you the summary that the law has a uniformity of love. On these two commandments depend the whole law and the prophets. So I want you to understand, and I will reiterate once again to see the point here. The emphasis of the question here is to prepare you to understand the 10 Commandments is not just a subset of rules and bylaws that you follow. They have a uniform message to understand, and the Messiah is making that clear. And what the divine is trying to do with this catechism lesson is let you understand that overlying theme. To love God first, and indeed in loving God will the outflowing be understood in how you will love your fellow man.